Tonight our guest in the second hour will be this kid we keep reading about in the paper, and no one seems to be able to get this kid out on a regular basis. His name is Tracy Jones, who in the first week or so of spring camp, the exhibition games, has really impressed a great many people. But the guy I wanted to get on tonight came to Cincinnati last year from Texas and became a fixture at third base, a spot that I think Pete Rose, coming into the 1985 season, was looking for somebody to play third base for the Cincinnati Reds. Well, I don't think he got just somebody. He got Buddy Bell.
Did you have to look in the book?
No. I remember your name. Buddy Bell from the Texas Rangers played third base. Numbers for 1985. You're going to have to endure this now.
Yes, I've heard
219 for Cincinnati. What?
I've heard this before.
Yes, you have. 219. He had 6 home runs, probably in his last 9 at-bats of the season. 36 RBIs. Sterling plays defensively at third base. And Pete Rose put the pressure on you, kid. He said that he wouldn't be a bit surprised if you were the all-star third baseman in 1986. First, a round of applause for Buddy Bell. Yeah.
Thank you.
Not very often a Major League Baseball team has a second-generation ball player, and you are. And how's things going, kid?
Pretty good, Trump. I'm enjoying myself down here. You know, spring training is not my most favorite time of year to begin with, but as we were talking the other day, it is a necessity. And I'm enjoying myself. This is my first year in Tampa. So after being in Pompano Beach for 7 years, this is, even though I like Pompano Beach as a city, the facility wasn't quite the facility we have here. So
yeah.
It's,
how about players? You are surrounded by some here. I'm not so sure that was the case in Pompano.
Well, we had some good players down there, but you know we have a quantity here, including a lot of young players that look as though they're ready for the big leagues. You know, it's a tough decision for the front office to make here with the Reds, because it's tough to know if a kid is really ready for major league competition. Now, spring training is a little different, but from what I have seen, Tracy Jones and Paul O'Neill, Cal Daniels, I hate to leave anybody out, and of course the little shortstop.
Don't look out here, because they're all standing out here. So just talk.
These guys are very, very impressive, and to go along with the other group, and we have a fine combination of players.
Interesting thing about this camp too, I think, buddy, and we've talked about this with other players on the ball club. There's a line that coaches use at just about all levels, players use at just about all levels, and that is something good is contagious just as something bad is contagious. And down here this spring, the performance of those young kids you're talking about, Tracy Jones and Kurt Stillwell and Terry Lee, it's been contagious. It's just pushed it through the entire 40-man roster, so that everybody goes out there and tries to live up to what the other guy did. And
right.
It's been fun to watch.
Well, that's a good point, Trump. You know, we can kid all we want in the clubhouse about the young players having good springs, and we get kidded about it. Well, you got this guy behind you, and he's pushing you. Well, he is pushing you, and you're aware of it, and you don't necessarily like it. But I also think it's good for to have somebody pushing you. You know, there are times when you can get comfortable in a situation. I don't think good players do that, but if you do have somebody behind you, you can avoid that happening. And these guys are very good players, and like I said, we kid about it, but we know they're there.
Yeah, they're all over in one corner of the clubhouse, rookie row. It's kind of the low-rent district in a Major League ball players' clubhouse, but they're all there together, and you know, more of the press is kind of sneaking over there, talking to this guy, talking to that guy, getting a quote from this guy. You know,
well, the veteran players all have 2 stalls, and the rookies have 1 stall. So maybe that's what's pushing them on. They want the 2 stalls.
Sure. There are little things that really indicate to a ball player that you've made it. That 2-stall thing is important. Right. The director's chair in the clubhouse, very important. That sets you apart from everybody else.
That's right.
But let's go back to '85. We've talked about this before, buddy, on the program. Have you ever in your life gone through anything like you went through in 1985?
No, Trump. I never want to go through it again, and I'm sure that there's some other people that don't want me to go through it again either. But you know, when I came over here, I was in a big time slump anyway, and to compound that, to come to a new league and try to get out of a slump and try to fit in at the same time was not the ideal situation. I didn't play very well. I didn't hit very well, and I worked with Billy DeMars, and I talked with a few people, Tommy Helms, and of course Pete helped me, and Tony Perez was a big help to me. And in September, even though my batting average wasn't what I wanted it to be, I think I hit around 230 in September, I produced RBI-wise and things like that. So that's that I regained my confidence. You know, I hate to say I lost my confidence. You know, I never want to say I lost my confidence, but I truthfully I did, and with the help of some people and hard work on my behalf, you know, we came out of it a little bit.
Yeah, you were right. 231 in September and October, but 4 home runs and 22 RBIs. And I suppose, buddy, to build for 1986, you needed a month, a week,
right,
a game, and at bat, something that all of a sudden it clicked.
Right. And I really can't tell you when it was. There were times throughout that whole period where I felt like I was on my way to regain what I had done in the past. But you know, I'd have one good game, then I'd have 2 bad ones, and I'd have a good game, and then two or 3 bad ones. So you know, I wasn't consistent, and that's what I've been throughout my career. I've been a consistent player. I've never really been a streaky hitter. I don't have one real good week and 2 bad ones. I normally try to have a consistent year all the way through. Every week I want to do something well and try to help the team win. But when I came over here, I wasn't able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And, hopefully I can do that this year. I feel like I will, but I don't feel any differently this year than I have in the years past.
Honestly? I mean, not the fact that you're in a Reds uniform and you used to run around that clubhouse in Tampa,
right.
Didn't you?
Yeah. I think they were glad to get rid of me.
but still, I mean, there's got to be some lumps in your throat every once in a while.
Well, yeah. When I came back here to Tampa, it was quite different. We drove, my wife Gloria and my two of my children, Ricky and Christy. We drove down here, and some of the things look familiar, but after, the last year we were here was in '61. When that was Dad's last year with the Reds, but, some things look familiar, and other things was, just I couldn't believe what they've done to this city. But, going into Al Lopez Field, and that was quite different. And I did that the first night I was here, and, to relive some of the things that I had done with my father and my mother and the rest of my brothers and sisters is, it's kind of neat for me.
Yeah,
I enjoy that part of it.
It also appears, buddy, and no one is aware in Cincinnati of your work habits in Texas. Haven't the slightest idea. We didn't make trips down to Pompano to see you. When I saw you, it was on a golf course or at a basketball game or something like that. Mm-hmm. Is there more or less work in this camp than in previous years at Texas?
Individually?
For you?
No, I don't think so. I think I might be doing a little bit more hitting this year because we have more fields and we have more instructors. In Texas, we didn't have we weren't fortunate enough to have the 4 fields that Redsland has. We had one broken down field behind our regular field, and most of the time we couldn't get on it anyway because of the conditions. But there's a lot more you can do here because of the facilities. But once a game starts, I like to take off a game or two because I think you can get more work done when you don't go on a trip or you don't play in a game. You can go down the cage and you can hit a little bit, and do what you want to do rather than being on a timetable.
Are you getting enough swings?
We got enough swings. We had the first week down here. We hit for an hour, which is a lot of hitting with only four players. So you get a lot of hitting. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take a day or two off of hitting here pretty shortly, just to, because I think you can get stale at times too.
Sure.
You have to go out there and work as hard as you can, but then there comes a time when you have to take off, and you have to, maybe I'll go out and take some extra ground balls on that day.
Yeah. Buddy Bell is our guest, third baseman, Cincinnati Reds. Sports Talk tonight includes Tracy Jones. This guy, we've read his name, heard a lot of people talk about him. Well, 7 o'clock, we're going to find out something about him ourselves. We'll continue with Buddy Bell after this. Buddy Bell, our guest in this hour of Sports Talk, reminds you, 7 o'clock, Tracy Jones will be our guest. Buddy, we've talked about this before. You're one of those, I don't want to say a baseball player of the last generation, but you're not a weightlifter. To condition yourself for the baseball season, you basically do the things you do in the game. You swing the bat, correct?
Right. Well, I had lifted weights. I had knee surgery in 1974, and I had done a few weights during the winter, and I probably didn't do them right to begin with. First of all, in 1974, it was still frowned upon to lift the weights. There was only a few teams that really believed in it. The Cleveland Indians weren't one of them, and I wasn't, because I had never been really told how to do it or anything like that. And I just went out and played it. But in the winter of 1979, I guess, I had lifted some Nautilus, and I didn't feel well then. I just felt real tight, and so since then I swing a lead bat and play some basketball and try to keep them
broadcast a little bit. That always keeps you in shape.
That keeps you. Well, look at yourself.
Well, I look. I want to explain to you, Bill, that I've trained for years for this job, and I don't appreciate.
I wasn't being.
What?
You know me.
I know you, but I still don't appreciate the fact that an active major league great is trying to steal my job.
Hey,
you're all over the place.
You heard me. You don't have to worry about that.
Right, Dale. I heard you. Right, Dale.
Pete's on me every day.
Right, Dale. No, Buddy, by the way, in case you've forgotten or didn't hear, did a lot of Xavier basketball games on the radio with Dale McMillan. When Andy McWilliams was doing television, the comment you heard, right, Dale, was made by Buddy Bell.
That's right, Bob.
That's right. See, you can work in this business. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. But obviously, in dealing with the preparation for the season, when you say you're swinging a lead bat, you're swinging it thousands of times?
No, what I do is I have a net at home, and what we do is I have someone throw balls up to me, and I just swing probably 100 times with the lead bat and 100 times with the regular bat, so probably 200 times.
How many times a day? How many days a week are you talking about?
Every day.
Every day?
Yeah.
For how long?
I took a couple days off now. I didn't, I wasn't relentless about it, but, I just wanted to, my theory, when you get older, naturally you're going to slow down a little bit, and the reason I did the lead bat was I felt like it would help my bat speed. I wouldn't lose any of it, and I think it's helped out.
Yeah, well, the one thing that is really obvious when you hit the ball hard is that the time it takes it to get from your bat to somewhere past an infielder just astounds me. There are other guys that hit the ball, maybe hit it farther, but when you hit line drives, they are to the outfield like that.
Well, that's what Billy DeMars preaches, though. He preaches that your power. A lot of people think the power is generated from your setup position, which is probably behind your right shoulder from a right-handed hitter. It's generated from there, but actually, you only have your power is only generated for maybe a foot and a half from the time you hit the ball. So
and that's flipping your wrist.
That's wrist action and keeping everything in. That's the problem I had when I came over here, that I was opening up too quick. And a lot of times, the reason that you do that is because you're trying to hit more home runs.
Mm-hmm.
And with me, I've never been a home run hitter, and I don't ever remember hitting a home run when I wanted to. I just didn't do it. I'm a line drive hitter, and if I hit the ball hard enough, it's going to go out.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times I hit the ball right on the nose, and it won't go out. It'll just be a nice line drive.
Mm-hmm.
But I just got in a bad habit somewhere along the line, and I have to say it's because I was probably trying to hit home runs.
Yeah. Well, this spring you've hit the ball very well. You got to be happy with the way you're
making
contact.
I'm happy with the contact, but I'm not quite as disciplined as I'd like. I've got some hits down here, but some of the hits I've gotten, 3 hits in particular, is if I wanted to hit them, they would have hit me in the face, I think. So that's not the greatest discipline in the world. I'm seeing the ball okay, but down here in spring training, you lose your concentration at times because of the importance of the game. We're all trying to get ready for April 7th, and a lot of times your concentration can leave you a little bit because the most important thing is to get ready. And if you lose your concentration, that's not good to begin with. So you got to really work hard to keep that concentration.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't, you're not going to be successful.
Yeah, you also have, I think, all major league hitters, players at this time of the year, have a certain difficulty in that you may face a kid that you'll never see again. You haven't the slightest idea what he throws. You don't have any real book on him. Mm-hmm. You're just out there going blind, figuring, well, he's probably not going to throw a lot of breaking pitches because he's still early in camp. So it always amazes me that you guys are able to hit the ball as well as you do. I mean, like today, those 4 home runs that the Reds hit, and I think it's significant that the guys hit them are Davis, O'Neill, and Cal Daniels. That's 3 home runs for us. But they were off some minor league pitchers that they probably saw in AAA. You haven't seen any of those guys.
No. One of the problems with guys that have been around a long time, they like to see a pitcher a couple times too. And the first time you face a pitcher, naturally you want to get a hit, but another important aspect of it is to see what he's going to throw, and see what he's going to throw in this situation, see what he's going to throw in that situation. And a lot of times with a younger pitcher, they don't have complete control of their pitches, so you really don't know what they're going to do. So that tends to distract your concentration a little bit too.
Mm-hmm. Buddy, do you have any idea what you'll hit in the batting order this year?
I don't know. I talked to Pete, and he had mentioned when he does not play, I'll hit second, and when he does play, I'll hit fifth.
Mm.
Now, if they take Kurt Stillwell, and when Davy's not in the lineup, which Davy will be in the lineup, but if something happens where a Stillwell or a Tracy Jones or Paul O'Neill or Cal Daniels, that they might move me to 6th. Then I don't know, but that's something I'll have
Why
to wait
second?
and see.
Have you hit there before?
I've hit second before, and I have been successful as a hit and run man in the past. So I think Pete would like to utilize that.
Well, that's not
So
generally
I think
that
they're
second spot.
Utilize my speed.
Yeah, I was going to say generally that second spot is for the anchor man on a relay team, which you will never be, son.
Well, you're right about that.
But you do can make contact, and you're not distracted by a guy trying to steal a base or get a big lead at first, and 9 throws over to first base, and then finally 1 to you.
Right. Hitting second, you have to be able to bunt a little bit. You have to be able to go hit behind the runner, and you have to be able to hit with 2 strikes. And I've been able to do that.
Buddy Bell is our guest. This is Sports Talk on this Thursday evening from Tampa. We'll continue our conversation after this.
Lines are now available for Sports Talk. If you're calling long-distance, dial toll-free 1-800-543-0471. If you're calling long-distance from Ohio, dial toll-free 1-800-582-1701. And from the greater Cincinnati area, dial 749-3420.
Buddy Bell is our guest. We'd love to take your phone calls. at 749-3420. Buddy will be here until 7 o'clock, and then Tracy Jones. We're going to find out exactly who this kid is. Buddy, continuing talking about the spring training and preparation for the season. Right now, first week of exhibition games, first live pitching you faced since last season. How much generally do the players improve to next week? The reason I make that point is right now you're once again seeing a lot of those rookie pitchers. They want to see if this kid can throw, that kid can throw. Next week you'll start facing the regular rotation of a team, the middle relievers, the short relievers. How much more important is the hits you get next week as opposed to this week?
Well, first of all, the hits you get down here are not as important as the ones you're going to get in April. As far as your own conditioning, it's a lot better to feel better next week as opposed to this week. And first of all, the pitchers are ahead of the hitters. Of course, today was no indication of that, but the pitchers have been down here a week to a week and a half before the hitters, and the pitchers are throwing batting practice to the hitters, and you don't get much out of that. It's more like pitching practice rather than batting practice. But I think that you have to progress conditionally. You can't just I got in my particular situation I got 7 hits and 12 times at bat, but I can't say, well, I got 7 hits. I can I can slide the rest of spring training, because that's not what it's all about. It's feeling good at the plate and hitting the ball in the nose consistently. And when you go into the regular season, you're in a good groove, and the more you can progress throughout the spring, the better.
Yeah. So basically, what you're telling me here is that it's the quality hits you get. I mean, the one that you really sting, that you feel good about.
Right.
That's the one you're looking for, as opposed to number.
If you don't get hits, you're just up there to try to sting the ball. You can't guide the ball. When you start trying to guide the ball and try, look at a hole and you're going to try to get it through there without anything on it, you're in trouble. You're just going to try to go up there and hit the ball as hard as you possibly can and as consistently as you possibly can.
Have you noticed a difference in the strike zone between American and National?
No. I really can't say that I have, Bob. First of all, the American League umpires have gone to the inside protector. They don't. I think there's only one umpire that uses the outside protector, and I can't tell you who that is right now. I should be able to tell you, but I can't. So I don't think there's that much of a difference now. When I came over here last year, I was only over here for 2 months, and I really can't. I really didn't see much of a difference.
Don't the American League umpires still sit right behind the catcher, or am I wrong?
They
National League umpires get down at you swing right-handed. They get down between you and the catcher.
But most of the American League umpires they're all pretty much doing the same thing now. I think there was a couple of years ago the American League was trying to do things different than the National League, and the National League was trying to do things differently than the National League, just to say this league's better than that league, and in all phases of the game. And I think right now they're major leagues are getting to the point where everything's going to be the same, which I think that's the way it should be.
How about the difference in the power of the pitchers? More power pitchers over here than the...
I think so. I don't think there's better pitchers over here. I think it's pretty even. First of all, the reason that I say that is because over here there's more power pitchers because you have younger pitchers over here. In the American League, you have older pitchers, and naturally they're gonna pitch to you a little bit more. They're gonna throw you a breaking ball. They're gonna, try to get you to bite on that slider or that soft curveball or something. And normally when a pitcher gets older, that's what he's gonna do. And in the National League, they have younger pitchers, so I think that's the reason for more power.
Yeah. Buddy Bell is our guest. We got people waiting on the telephones to talk to Mr. Bell, number 25 on your scorecard. So let's go to the telephones. You're first tonight with Buddy Bell on Sports Talk. We appreciate you being here. Good evening.
Buddy. Hello.
We're here.
Okay. Just answer the question I was going to ask. Which pitching is tougher, the American League or National League?
Well, I think that both of them are pretty much the same. We were just talking about it. The National League probably has more power pitchers, and the American League has more finesse pitchers, and I think it's because of the age. You have younger players in the National League, and naturally they're going to throw more fastballs because they have younger arms. And the American League has older pitchers, so you learn how to pitch a little bit more as your career goes on, and I think that's the reason for the difference.
Okay. When you came over last year, you said you were in a slump. Did Billy DeMars change anything in your stance, or?
No, the fortunate thing about Billy DeMars is not only is he a fine hitting instructor, but his philosophies is basically the same as mine, and that's hitting down on the ball and getting your hands through without a lot of body movement. And Billy was a big help to me, along with a lot of other people, including my father, who I seem to talk to every day.
Gee, I wonder why.
Kind of got tired of that. But Billy DeMars didn't change anything with my swing. He just basically tried to get me to do what I had done in the past.
You don't collect 2,000 hits without doing something right in the major leagues.
No, that's a lot of hits. I'd like to get a few more, though.
How many more? Would you settle for 3,000?
I'd like to get 3,000. That'd be nice. It might take me, hopefully, maybe only 4 more years. But
you want to play 4 more years?
I'd like to play 4 more years. It's with the Reds.
You're what, 33 now or 34?
34.
34?
A young 34.
A young 34. Right. Let's emphasize young 34. Yes, that's absolutely right. And you think you can play, or you hope to play 4 or 5 more years?
I'd like to play 4 or 5 more years.
How old were you when you came up?
20.
20? You've been around a long time, kid. You know that? You really have.
I can't stand all these compliments.
Anything else, caller?
Buddy, I've been following you for a long time, and I just wish you have the best year of your career this year.
Well, thank you. I hope so, too.
All right. Thanks a lot. We'll see you.
Thanks for joining us. You folks waiting on the phone, wait. We'll be back to Buddy Bell and your phone calls after this. By the way, tonight at 8 o'clock, Dave Lapham will have Sports Talk for you, the final hour, and I'm sure he'll talk about the Musketeers. Game time tomorrow, broadcast time tomorrow is 2:05, Xavier versus Alabama in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Buddy Bell is our guest. We have people waiting on the phone to talk to Mr. Bell, so let's go back to the telephones. You're next. And welcome to Sports Talk. Good evening.
Hello, Trump. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Very well, very well.
Hello, buddy. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Great, great. Buddy, this is Rob. I live in Oakley now, but, hey, I used to live out there on Boomer Road in Mofford Heights.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, I was in the same kindergarten class with your younger brother, Randy.
Oh, is that right?
He had great potential in finger painting. I saw that early.
He still does.
Buddy likes to play
Randy's
in the dirt.
doing fine.
Yeah. Buddy likes to play in the dirt a lot.
Buddy, I tell you, I was really, really happy to see you get the trade back here to Cincinnati. For what it's worth, I think it's. I always like to see the hometown guys on the local team. And I don't know, Trump, what do you think? Is this the Reds have what? Buddy Bell, Pete, Parker, and Oster, all local boys on the team?
Yeah, I read that.
Is there any
have
more?
Byron Larkin.
Yeah.
Who's
you know
great
of any
young
other team
player.
that has more homegrown
Barry
boys?
Larkin. Byron.
Byron, that's right. Byron.
Yeah,
I got Muskies on my mind.
That's right. Byron plays for X.
Barry's there.
Barry, yeah. Hey, caller, let me tell you something about that trade with Buddy Bell.
Yeah.
When we heard about it, I think every time I saw Bell for about the last 5 years, the first thing I saw him at ice rinks, I saw him at golf tournaments, I'd see him here, I'd see him there. First thing he says, hey, you hear about a trade about me coming to Cincinnati? I said, no, buddy, I haven't heard, but I'd encourage it, whatever. We caught wind of the fact that the deal was coming down, and I got a hold of Buddy. I don't remember where you were. Were you in New York?
Yes, I was.
You were in some hotel room somewhere.
I was in New York, right.
And I called, and the way you said hello, you were hoping it was somebody from the Texas Rangers say you're going to Cincinnati. And I said, this is Trumpy, and he says, oh.
I was happy.
No, you weren't happy. Don't lie. You don't have to lie. But we talked for a little bit, and I mean, it's hard to get words out of Buddy anyway, but he didn't want to say anything to ruin his trade. So he just said, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to talk to anybody. I'll talk to you later. Don't bother me. Just let it go. Let's just hope it gets done. But what have you heard?
Well, that did a rumor that just kept cropping up for 3 or 4 years.
Right. As a matter of fact, this particular trade was going on for probably a month or so. As I had talked to the Rangers organization or the Rangers front office for probably it was about 2 months before the actual trade, and so for 2 months I was waiting to hear, and finally Tom Grieve, who is the general manager with the Rangers, had talked to Mr. Burgess with Cincinnati, and they had started preliminary talks, and it took a month for this to actually happen. So
that'd certainly affect your batting average, wouldn't it?
Well, see, I think you're a man without a team. It's not the ideal situation, but it's over with, and
thank God.
I'm happy to be here.
Thank God.
Well, that's however long it took. I'm glad that it finally did come true.
Thank you.
One last question. You kind of touched on it with Trump, talking about the difference in the strike zone, the pitching, and so forth. And I'm just wondering, buddy, if I know there are some people that refer to the American League as the junior circuit. And I'm just kind of wondering why you think that's so, or if it's justified, or why would you think that among some circles it has that designation?
Time out. Simple answer.
Yeah.
The National League's been in existence about 30 years longer than the American League. That's why the American League's a junior circuit.
Okay. So
I wouldn't mention that to the Royals either.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with quality. It has nothing to do with caliber. The National League started in Cincinnati in 1867. The American League, I don't think, started until 1900.
So it's purely seniority.
Absolutely. That's why the American League is the junior circuit.
Well, okay, but then talking about present day, let's talk quality. I'm a diehard Reds fan. Accordingly, I always root for the National League team in the World Series, and I kind of I tend to agree with the junior circuit designation, and not necessarily based on seniority. I'm talking quality. I think that the National League is a little more, is a tougher league.
Well, is this for me or Trump?
That's for
you. Yeah, buddy, you're the one that's played over there, but you're
well, I can tell you right now that that's not the case. There are some great players in the American League, and there's some great players in the National League, and either league might have 5 to 10 better players possibly if you put them in a superstar category. But I don't think overall. I don't think there's any difference. They all come out of the same draft. They all come out of the same minor league systems, and some organizations are better. I will say this, that there's not many organizations better than the Los Angeles Dodgers. There's not many better organizations than the Cincinnati Reds. There's not any better than the Philadelphia Phillies. There's a lot of great organizations in this league. On the other hand, there's a lot of great organizations in the American League. Baltimore is a fantastic organization. The Kansas City Royals is a great organization. The Detroit Tigers have a great organization. So I think that if you want to look who has the better players, and you have to look at the organizations in either league, and I think it'll even itself out.
Yeah, sure, but I'm sure this always comes up, but all you have to do is look at the All-Star game statistics, and buddy, you as an individual would, if anything, be a case in point to justify that. Here, you're an outstanding player in the American League, and boom, all of a sudden you join the senior circuit, and you did seem to have some trouble adapting.
You're right. Good point.
So I mean, and I certainly realize.
Caller, let me ask you. Let me make a point to you. You call this program, talk to a guy who has been. How many times have you been an All-Star?
5 times.
5-time All-Star. Has a lifetime batting average close to 300. Ask him a question, he gives you an answer, and then you argue with it.
Okay. No, I'm just.
How many swings have you had in the American League or National League?
Well,
the man said it. He tried to explain to you.
I see.
Thanks for your phone call.
Okay, great.
We'll give you another try some other time. Buddy Bill is our guest. We'll be back with more after this.
I'm Pat Roberts. Among the hour's top stories, NASA could be in trouble again after an exclusive report found out by ABC. Thumbs down on the president's budget, and the governor doesn't want to be known as the Coppertone Kid. Checking the radar forecast, more rain with temperatures stabilizing as to around what they are now. We'll have the details coming up at 7 on 700 WLW.
Here's an NCAA basketball score for you about Bradley. The Braves beat UTEP 83-65, advanced to round 2 of the NCAA Finals. A reminder, once again, broadcast time tomorrow, 2:05 for Xavier, Alabama. That's with Andy McWilliams and Joe Sunderman at the microphones. And Buddy Bell is our guest. Second hour, Tracy Jones will join us here on Sports Talk. And back to the telephones. You're next on Sports Talk with Buddy Bell. Go ahead.
Hello.
How are you?
This is Derek McCamey from Columbus.
Yes,
how
sir.
are you guys feeling tonight?
Fine, thank you.
Fine, thank you.
First of all, I want to say how happy I am that Buddy Bell's finally a Red.
Thank you.
And it's been speculated for a long time. Finally did come true. I have a couple questions tonight. First of all, Buddy, I've seen you make some really spectacular plays last year at third base. And as far as I'm concerned, you're the best fielding third baseman in baseball.
Thank you.
But it seemed to me still, and I know the American League has more grass infields than the National League does, but it seemed to me, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, that you had a little bit of trouble maybe adjusting to the artificial turf.
Right. I did. It's a lot quicker, and you not only have to adjust to the AstroTurf, you have to adjust to the hitters and the pitchers who are throwing to those hitters, and not seeing the hitters before and are playing defense against them. You know, it takes some time to adjust, but the AstroTurf is the biggest adjustment. Not only because of the quickness of it, but the throw is a lot different because you're playing a little bit deeper.
All right. Second question, I don't know how well you can answer this, is about the 15 the position players that will be going up north to Cincinnati. It seems to me like maybe 13 spots are filled. The other two, is Pete going to carry an infielder and an outfielder extra?
I have no idea, and I'm glad I don't have to make that decision because
well,
there's an awful lot of good players down here.
Well, a question arises, I mean, judging from his performance today, it's probably unlikely to happen, but say Kurt Stillwell doesn't travel north to Cincinnati, who would then be maybe the leading candidate for utility roles in the infield?
I don't know.
Go ahead, buddy, answer it.
You know, I really don't know.
There's no way to come up with that answer. One, for the last 4 or 5 months, the Cincinnati Reds have said they're going north with 24 players. With the way the position players have played, it's pretty obvious to me it's going to be 9 pitchers. They're not going to shortchange any kid that's performed well down here. That utility person you're looking for is going to go north, and they may go up with 1 pitcher short because they're even talking about a 3-man rotation in the first month.
Right. Well, you don't need as many pitchers in April as you do the rest of the year because of all the days off.
Yeah.
I really can't tell you what Pete and Mr. Burgess are going to do. They got an awful tough decision to make, and there's an awful lot of good players down here. You know, there's a possibility of trades, and
Sure.
You know, with all the and even there you got a problem because you're talking about first of all you got so many good young players. Well, what are you going to do with the people that they trade for? You know, you're going to be in the same situation then too. So, you know, it's not a bad problem to have. It's just a problem that I'm glad I don't.
Yeah, buddy, Bob Hausum, who has been a frequent guest on this program a lot from Tampa, he said one of the first things he told Pete Rose when they came to spring training last they turn out to be a Tom Browning. It's a pleasant problem to deal with. He said, and when it happens, we'll handle it. Don't worry about it. Buddy, we're out of time. Appreciate your time sitting here with us, and
Thank
nice
you, Chump.
talking to you.
Always
Good
enjoy
luck
being
this
here.
1986 season.
Thank you.
I'm not going to put any pressure on you saying that you know, we're expecting
Okay,
great things
then
out of you. But let's just hope you don't stumble
Well,
and fall
thank you.
down. Buddy Bell, the Cincinnati Reds, thanks. Next hour, Tracy Jones will join us. It's now 7 o'clock. It's time for the news from 700 WLW.
700 WLW News. Good evening, I'm Pat Roberts. Out of the frying pan and into the fire. That's the shape NASA may find itself in again, amid criticism from the presidential panel studying the Challenger explosion. who say that administrative flaws are the cause of the tragedy.
A top official of Morton Thiokol, the Utah manufacturer of the solid rocket boosters, told ABC News that the company notified NASA in 1982 that there was a serious problem with the rocket's O-rings. A company official told us, quote, "We warned them because we had a potential catastrophe on our hands." But top NASA officials, who wouldn't be identified, told ABC News that instead of moving to correct the O-ring problem, NASA middle management simply exempted the rocket seals from safety backup requirements that are applied to other parts of the shuttle. The official said NASA still clings to the notion that the O-rings were safe at far lower temperatures than Morton Thiokol's tests have indicated. Al Dale, ABC News at the Johnson Space Center, Houston.
A flood warning out for the Great Miami River in Miamitown, but it shouldn't create any major problems when the river is expected to crest 2 feet over flood stage sometime tomorrow. The complete radar forecast coming up. Also ahead on 700 WLW, thumbs down on the president's budget, and the governor doesn't want to be known as the Coppertone Kid.
Hader Hardware wants to tell you about a special offer that's available from 3M. It's a special sweepstakes and rebate event that's going on now. Stop in at any Hader Hardware store to get complete details. The highlights of the 3M rebate are: buy any combination of 3 packages of 3M sanding products, including belts, discs, blocks, and sponges, plus a gallon of paint or stain or a power tool, and you'll get a $5 rebate direct from 3M. That's a pretty good offer in my book. 3M is world famous for its household products, and you know they're the finest quality available. And this rebate will help cut the cost of any of your spring cleanup, fix-up, or paint-up chores. To repeat, buy any combination of 3 packages of 3M sanding products, plus a gallon of paint or stain or a power tool, and get a $5 rebate direct from 3M. Stop in today at any Hader Hardware store and get complete details of this special 3M offer. You'll be glad you did.
It's 7:03 at 700 WLW. As expected, the Democratic-dominated House has voted thumbs down on President Reagan's budget. The vote, 312 to 12. The president has selected former Congressman Barbara Conable as the new World Bank president. And the former White House says will help cope with the challenges of development in the coming year. The IRS may have to lay off 50,000 workers if it doesn't get $300 billion more in budget money from the Fed right at the peak of tax time. Cincinnati home sales broke full stride in February, increasing 56%. Realtors Board President Mike Geatley says growth since the beginning of the year has been dramatic.
Dollar volume of home sales has increased about 32.4%. January and February of 86 compared to January and February of 85.
A potentially explosive acid found in a Fernald uranium processing plant lab was destroyed under state supervision today. It was set off in a remote site. No one was hurt. Indiana leaders plan to release damage estimates from Monday's storm killing 2 Hoosiers. Northern Kentucky is still waiting to find out if it qualifies for federal aid.
I don't want you to think just because it's designated federal disaster that all the problems are going to be solved, and they are very slow, and even if once it's designated, and getting benefits back to the community. But we'll push them as much as we possibly can on getting them in here and getting something done.
Newport City Commissioner Jim Parsons. By the way, the Red Cross is moving out of the A.D. Owen School. Tomorrow it's setting up shop at the Arnold School at 5th and Columbia. If you need more information about assistance or how you can help, call the 700 WLW News Information Line, 491-0915.
You people out there, you listen to me. Don't you shop in stores that care more about profits than they do about people.
That's the voice of the character Mama, portrayed by Vicki Lawrence in Cincinnati today for a continuation of the campaign by the United Food and Commercial Workers Union against the non-union big store. And Governor Collins may get to keep her tanning bed after all. A Lexington senator is spearheading a drive to buy it, to give it back to the governor. But he's gotten a handwritten warning and a can of sunburn spray from the governor as a gift.
At 700 WLW News, we continue to meet the challenge.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Whether a story breaks in Paris, France, or Paris, Kentucky, we'll have the information for you. ABC and 700 WLW.
Here's the radar forecast for Latonia, Green Township, and the rest of the tri-state. Don't forget there's a flood warning out around the Great Miami River in Miamitown overnight tonight. The river is supposed to crest 2 feet above flood stage sometime tomorrow, but it should not be any major problem. Tonight, cloudy, scattered showers and thunderstorms, a low of 50. Friday, cloudy, a chance of rain, high 60. Friday night cloudy, chance of rain, low 38. Saturday mostly cloudy, a high of 56, and the National Weather Service tells me now that this weekend we should not have any problems with rain. Right now it's 62 degrees in northern Kentucky, and it's 62 degrees at your official weather station. I'm Pat Roberts, 700 WLW News.
Back with our second hour of Sports Talk this Thursday evening from Tampa. If you've read the paper in Cincinnati over the last couple of 3 weeks, name keeps popping up. This young man named Tracy Jones has played a lot of center field while Eddie Milner is recovering from his wrist injury. And in many instances in professional baseball, it takes an unfortunate set of circumstances for one player for someone else to emerge. Tracy Jones was the Reds' #1 draft choice secondary phase in 1983. Made a giant leap in the Reds organization. He was a leading Eastern League hitter with a .317 average when he was promoted to Denver. And then at Denver, he had .337, including .402 at home. His numbers last year total then, well, just for Denver, .337, 10 home runs, 31 RBIs, 20 stolen bases. Struck out just 16 times in 205 at-bats. This kid is 6 feet 3 inches tall, weighs 210 pounds, and everybody that's come in contact with him is very much impressed with one Tracy Jones. And I want everyone to welcome him, please, to Sports Talk. Tracy Jones.
Thank you.
Tracy, we got to find out some things about you. We know you're from California. We know you played baseball, basketball, and football. Why'd you choose football? Why'd you choose baseball?
Because baseball chose me. I was going nowhere in football because I weighed 160 pounds. I wasn't going.
Wait a minute. How long ago was that?
This was 2 years ago. I weighed 160 pounds. 2 years ago.
What'd they do? Dip you in wax or something a number of times? Or?
I just got in the weight room for 6 months, 2 hours a day, every day, and gained about 45 pounds.
In 2 years?
Well, in 1 year, I gained 40 pounds. I finished my first season at 160. Came back the next year at 200. Came back the next year at 210. And now I'm even about 215.
My goodness gracious. Now, that's some heavy weightlifting. How old are you now?
24.
24. Did they ask you to gain that kind of weight?
No, that was done on my own. With the help of my best friend back home. Knew a lot about weights.
What made you decide that Tracy Jones had to be 6'3", 220 to play?
Because I hit 270 at 160 pounds, and I knew I could hit a little bit higher if I was stronger.
It's worked.
I think it has.
Yeah. Your swing didn't change with all the weightlifting. The reason I asked, Tracy, is that I know you're aware that I was just talking to Buddy Bell, and I don't want to make him the last generation of baseball player, but the veterans on this ball club, on any ball club, shy away from weights like they're the plague. And the next generation, you guys, you're out there pumping weights all the time.
Weights have changed my career. You could, 2-3 years ago, I was going nowhere. And by weights, working out hard, I'm going somewhere now.
Yeah, there's no question about it. This is your first Major League camp.
Yes.
One of the things you have to get over is just sitting down in the clubhouse with Pete Rose, Dave Parker, Nick Asaski. You either collected their baseball cards, watched them on TV, swung a broomstick in your backyard and said there's a deep drive to left, and you're playing that guy. You don't appear to have been bothered at all by the big-name players that are in that clubhouse.
I'm not bothered by any of the top ball players except for Pete. Pete makes me a little nervous.
How do you mean nervous?
Well, Pete's my idol, and I've always wanted to be like Pete Rose. When I was 5 years old, I was sliding head first, and to see Pete Rose and to stand next to him, I mean, he's coming up to me every day, hit me in the side. I says, Pete, you do that again, you're going to get hurt. So
I beg your pardon?
So did Pete. Pete said that too. But Pete's a real neat guy. But Parker's easy to get to know. Buddy Bell's a great guy. They're all great guys.
Yeah. Well, but still, I mean, rookies generally on ball clubs, and this is not just true in baseball, are there to be seen and not heard. And then once you're seen and you've shown what you've got, then they'll talk to you. Then they'll listen to you. Then they'll include you in the conversation. And you're to the point now where you're being heard. They want to hear what you got to say.
I've got a lot to say.
We're here to listen. Listen to this guy.
The first 4 days, I didn't say a single word. And some of the guys that I've played with before know that I'm a pop-off. But I was just sitting back, listening, going, yes, sir, Mr. Soto. Yes, sir, Mr.
Mr. Soto. Mr. Kids. Whoa.
But that's changing now. I'm starting to pop off a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, not only do you hit the ball with tremendous authority, we're also talking great defense. In fact, I had about 15 minutes conversation with Bruce Kemp, who is the bullpen catcher and the catcher's coach for the Cincinnati Reds. And he was in Detroit when Kirk Gibson was playing, coming up through the system and all the rest of that. And I said, does this kid, Tracy Jones, remind you of Kirk Gibson? And he said, yes, from the right side of the plate. Yes, absolutely. Very similar. You have excellent speed, excellent power. You play the outfield like you've been there your entire life. I mean, that's heavy company. But there's nothing wrong with being referred to as a young Kirk Gibson. Has anybody else ever said that about you?
I think the size is the comparison. I don't know. We'll have to see. I've only played this at this weight for 2 years. So who knows what I can do. Eventually, I'd like to get up to about 225. And I've gotten faster since I've gained the weight.
Yeah, one of the things about Tracy Jones that's absolutely incredible, he's not tricking anybody stealing these bases, because he is, in his pro career, stolen 91% of the bases he's attempted to steal. I mean, I don't mean to talk about you in the third party, but 91% of the time you've attempted to steal, you've made it. So you're not tricking anybody. You're getting there.
I sit there and I pay attention to the game. I know the pitchers move. I'm not that fast, but I know how to steal bases. And if I don't get a good jump, I don't go.
Well, somebody who is 6'3" and 225, and if you just growl in about the last 4 or 5 steps heading to second base, you're probably going to make it just because the second baseman's looking at you as opposed to baseball.
I can hit some second baseman. I've done that.
Yes, you can.
That's my favorite play.
Hit the second baseman
or the shortstop or the catcher.
Pete has already made that comment that you don't mind playing linebacker out there on the base pad.
I think if I was weighing 215 like I am now, I'd probably be the free safety with the Raiders down in L.A.
Well, that's no reason to be humble. Sure, I don't know you. It sounds good to me. Coming into this camp, though, Tracy, what basically was your approach? Your first major league camp?
Just to open some eyes, just to give 100%. That's what I do every day, is give 100%. And Pete has given me the opportunity of my life, and I'm real appreciative toward Pete.
You welcome any opportunity to get out there, pinch hit, play every day, anything that you can
I'll
possibly
do anything. I'll do anything.
Tracy, you sound like a very confident individual. Can you make this ball club in 1986?
That's up to Pete. I don't want to say
No. Separate.
Am I good enough?
Yeah,
yes, I am good enough.
You are good enough?
Yes. I can play a little bit.
No, you can play more than a little bit. There's no question about that.
I can talk a better game sometimes than I play.
Then I hope you make the ball club, because see, this program relies on people like you. But it's easy to talk at this time of training camp, right?
Yeah, you're only as good as your last game. Right now, I don't know how many hits. 9 for 16. I go 0 for 4 tomorrow, and they'll say, you know that Tracy Jones? He never was a very good hitter.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure about that. The only thing that I think negative you've done so far this camp, you let one ball get over your head a couple of days ago. Where?
Against the Dodgers.
Against the Dodgers.
Yeah, that was stupid. I hadn't played center field for a year and a half, and they stuck me out there, which is fine. But I was playing Trevino in way too far.
I don't blame
But hey,
you.
he can't hit.
I don't blame you. Blame you. Yeah, we had Alex Trevino here. We agree with you.
I've never seen him hit a ball against the fence.
Well, in spring training, maybe he uses an aluminum bat.
Yeah, he's got something in his bat, I'm sure.
Yeah. Tracy Jones is our guest. This is going to be an interesting conversation, and we're going to continue it after this. Let me back up for you a little bit here to remind you the Reds today won 9-8 over the Astros. Reds had 3 home runs, Eric Davis, Paul O'Neill, and Cal Daniels. The winning pitcher was Ted Power with perfect inning in the 9th. Max Venable got the game-winning RBI, and it was a come-from-behind victory by the Cincinnati Reds. Tomorrow they take on the Los Angeles Dodgers in Vero Beach. Presently our guest is one Tracy Jones. And Tracy, a man of a certain amount of confidence, you were just telling me that you've got some baseball players in your family.
Yeah, I do. My brother, Terry, who's 21, he plays for the Angels, AA. And my dad played professional baseball with the Red Sox. And my little brother, he's 16 years old, just turned 16. He's 6'5", 197 pounds.
And all played baseball. Your little brother plays baseball in California now?
Yeah, he plays the same school that George Brett went to, El Segundo.
Oh, nice school.
McGregor.
Yeah, good reputation.
Yes,
How'd they draft you? Who saw you? What were you doing?
I was originally drafted by the Mets in the 4th round. Dwight Gooden was their first pick. Floyd Yeomans, I think Roger McDowell. Then I was drafted.
Why didn't you go?
Money. We were arguing about it. The farm director called me up and says, you know, Tracy, you just don't want to play. And I says, you've never seen me play then.
And this is right out of high school?
No, this is out of college.
Where'd you go to college?
Loyola Marymount in L.A. And the farm director told me that I don't want to play professional baseball. And I says, yeah, well, you've never seen me play, so we just argued about money, and that was it.
And at that time, when they drafted you, you were 6'3" and 160 pounds?
About 170.
170, and what position were you playing?
I was all over. I hadn't played for about a year because of an injury. So I was playing all over.
And then when the Reds drafted you, what was your position of choice?
Well, I had no choice. They put me at third base, and I was a terrible third baseman.
And then they moved you to the outfield?
Well, I asked to go to the outfield. I said, I have no business being in the infield. Move me to the outfield.
Well, where had you played in high school and in college?
Well, all over. Outfield,
except third
infield.
Base. Except third base.
A little third base, yeah. They thought I could be a good third baseman. They said I was a Ray Knight type.
A Ray Knight?
Ray Knight type.
Who said that?
My scout, who drafted me.
For the Mets or the Reds?
For the Reds.
A Ray Knight type?
Ray Knight type. Couldn't run, couldn't throw, I think is what they said.
Wait a minute, I know Ray Knight. A Ray Knight type?
A Ray Knight
You
type.
have changed a bunch physically if that was the comparison when you were first drafted. There's no question about that.
He's a good ball player.
Yeah, there's no question about that too. But you are a lot bigger. I don't think Ray's 6'3".
Yeah, I don't think he is.
And you have, I believe, a very strong arm, right?
It's all right.
It's all right? But what you do best is at the plate and get dirty, right?
Yeah, I like to mix it up a little bit.
You like, Pete said the other day to me that he was talking to you sitting in the dugout, and he said, I'm not sure he heard a word I said. And I said, what are you talking about? He said, I don't know. He said, I've heard you talk about linebackers. And he says, I think this guy's a linebacker on our ball club. You got to hit him on the head a couple of times, get his attention, and then he'll listen to you.
I hear what Pete has to say, but, you know, what do you say to Pete? I just want to go out and do my job. I'm not going to try to be a comedian and say something witty back to him.
Just nod your head?
Yeah, I just nod my head and just go get a hit.
Yeah. Well, very few people have gotten you out so far.
Yeah, I don't think I'm getting very much respect. I think they're just throwing fastballs right down the middle.
Well, eventually
taking it easy on me, I think.
You really? Why you?
I don't know. They feel sorry for me. I
Why?
used to weigh 160 pounds.
Seriously speaking, you think you can make this ball club this year?
Do I think?
Yes. I'm talking you. Let's not interject, Pete, numbers, players, experience, so on and so forth. Would you be disappointed if this year they say, Tracy, you had a wonderful spring, go to Denver?
I wouldn't. I would be disappointed. Yeah, I would. I think I might make this club if I continue to work hard. And go hit another continue to hit 700.
Yeah.
I think I got a good shot.
Yeah. That'll certainly turn somebody's head.
Yeah.
There's no question about that. The problem is now you getting opportunities to play, correct?
Yeah.
Right now, in the spring. First week, yeah, you're going to get your shots. But what about the next couple of weeks?
Paul O'Neill told me I'd probably get about 6 at-bats whole spring training.
How many have you had so far?
I think 16. Played about 34 innings. Tommy Helms says I got a letter for playing 32 innings. You get a letter.
That's not what you're looking for, though, right?
No.
But over the next couple of 3 weeks, Pete will begin playing the regulars more and more and more. You're going to have to fight to get into the lineup, and it's not something you can go up to Pete Rose and say, put me in the lineup. I want a chance to make this ball club. That's part of being a rookie and in your first major league camp. You realize that, don't you?
Yeah. Pete's the boss. Whatever Pete says goes.
Yeah, there's no question about that. But if you can show Bill Burgess, Pete Rose, something that you can do different than anybody else can do.
The thing that I do is I play 100%, like I said before, every single day. And I'm a hard-nosed ball player. I like to win. And I think I can add a lot to a ball club.
Have you told him that?
I will probably next week.
You're going to sit down with Pete?
I'm going to have a little talk. We'll have a little cup of coffee over in the lounge, and I'm going to tell him some stuff.
Listen. Can I be there? Will you tell me when that happens? I won't say a word.
Well, Pete asked me the other day, he says, can you move around the outfield? I says, Pete, I can do anything. And Pete says, hey, I'll be the judge of that.
Ooh. Ooh.
I haven't talked to Pete.
Yeah, that's probably a good he has his way of getting the point across to you. But at the same time, I mean, I think he'd appreciate the fact that someone who is brash enough to walk up to him, I mean, he doesn't want every rookie in the organization walking up and saying, I'll play 100%, I'll do what you ask me to do, I can add something to the ball club, and take me north with you. I mean, he'd have a constant stream of rookies in his office there.
Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen. It's a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah, but you do have, one of the things that works against you is that you have 3 options available. And options are they can send you to Denver, bring you up, and they still have control over you over the next couple of years. So options always work against the player.
I don't know anything about that. I just go out and play.
Yeah, well, you better start learning things about that.
I hear that's important.
Yeah, that is very, very important. You are represented.
I don't even know how much money I'm going to be making if I do make it to the big league. I don't even know. I think it's $60,000, isn't it?
That's the minimum.
Yeah.
Can you handle that?
I could spend it. I get some more pink shirts.
Some more pink shirts? Yeah, you got guts wearing that around here. There's no question about that. Like those fancy jeans, too.
Yeah, those are nice. I like those.
Yeah. But you get per diem? I mean, is that your cheeseburger money you're wearing there?
Hey, these are some nice clothes.
They sure are. Snaps on them and everything.
Yeah.
We like that.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Buddy Bell didn't like them, though.
He didn't? Why not?
He doesn't like them. Buddy's pretty conservative, I think.
Yeah, well, Cincinnati's like that.
Well, I can be conservative.
You can be.
I can adjust.
Yeah. In other words, what I'm looking at here right now is a young man in a pink shirt who is willing to be the Reds' Crescent Wrench. Just adjust me to whatever you want, and I'll fill the bill, except for third base.
I'm a front runner.
Yeah. Tracy, the only problem is, and I don't mean to be pushing you back, because I appreciate someone who is forward enough to say, I want to make this ball club. Everybody down here does.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is that you spend one more year in the minor leagues or part of a season in the minor leagues. You got to figure somebody's going to get hurt. And this is a bad ball club to be a gifted outfielder on. You will admit that.
There are some really good young outfielders.
I mean,
Paul O'Neill, Cal Daniels are excellent ball players.
O'Neill check swing one out of the ballpark today.
I wouldn't call that a check swing.
Well,
you know, he used my bat, too. Jeez, I figured I'd give him the bat. It already had about 20 hits in it. I said, it's bound to make an out.
Yeah. Is it your own bat or some other bat?
It's my bat.
It's your bat?
Yeah.
Did he know you were using
Paul,
it?
He don't care. He just picks up my bat, says, Trace, let me have a bat. He grabs my bat and hits a home run. But that's all right.
That's one less than that bat for you, right?
Yeah. There's only so many hits in a bat.
I understand that.
So.
And he just took a big one away, a dinger away.
Yeah, that was a home run.
Yeah, there's no question. I didn't mean a check swing home run. I mean, he parked it, but so did Cal Daniels. Did he use your bat?
No, I don't think Cal did.
No? When you sit down at night, when you come back after a ball game, do you call home and tell them what you've done?
Yeah, my parents are really getting uptight.
Uptight?
Yeah, they tried. They just want to know how I'm doing, and just tell them, give 100%, and don't be afraid of success. A lot of people are.
Right.
They're afraid to make it, afraid to get the opportunity to make it.
You've not spent a lot of time, I would imagine, looking at curveballs either.
Hey, I can hit curveballs. I sit there and I hear people say, hey, all he can hit is a fastball. I hit off-speed stuff better than I do fastballs.
You do?
Yeah.
How'd you learn that? Where'd you acquire
I
that
just
talent?
keep my hands back. Just take it right up the middle, right over the fence.
Right over the fence. Have you talked with Billy DeMars?
Yeah, I like Billy. He doesn't, you know,
I
have
get
that.
the feeling you don't like anybody who's got a vote on whether or not you make the ball club.
I really like him.
Well, you show a fair amount of intelligence.
I've made more friends in this 1 week than I have in 24 years.
And they all have Reds uniforms?
Oh, they all do. Very.
Well, I think most of them appreciate that. They really do.
Yeah. Well, if I'm in the big leagues for 10 years, I think I'll go back to having 1 or 2 friends.
Yeah. When you talk home, do you tell them, I got a chance, I'm doing all right, things are going well? What do you talk about?
I just say, you know, what I did that day, and that there's talk about me making the ball club. But you know, that's a long ways away. It's too early.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with hoping. This is a
Oh yeah,
lifelong dream.
hey, stranger things have happened.
Sure, you're 3 weeks away from realizing a lifelong dream. Is that fair to say?
I work really hard too. It's people don't realize the training that I've gone through to get where I'm at. I mean, weighing 160 pounds and weighing 215 pounds, there's a big difference. I mean, I went from bench pressing 180 to 370 pounds now.
In 2 years?
In about 2.5 years.
In about 2.5 years.
So I've only played this weight for 2 years.
And it hasn't affected you on the downside at all that you
Not
can
at
find?
all. It depends how you lift weights. There's a certain way you know that. There's I lift for strength and power, and not bodybuilding or
So
try to
that's-
get my arms bigger or anything
So you're
like
talking
that.
about power lifting, which is heavy weights.
Heavy weights and
not
less
a lot
reps.
of reps.
Exactly.
Yeah. Tracy Jones is our guest. And this young man is turning heads down here, making friends, as he said. And we'll continue our conversation on Sports Talk after this. Tracy Jones, our guest on this edition of Sports Talk from Tampa. Reds won today, in case you didn't hear. Kurt Stillwell, by the way, had 4 hits and continues to impress, as does Mr. Tracy Jones, our guest. Kurt Stillwell also made 3 sparkling defensive plays at shortstop. And
he's my roommate.
And he's your roommate. Yeah, that room. What room number is it?
920.
No, don't give that out. Don't give it out. I take it back. I take it back. That phone line will be burning up. I'm glad we didn't get that out. But at least whatever that room number is getting a lot of attention.
Yeah, we're not getting much sleep though.
And you're still hitting 700.
Yeah, it's only 4 games. That's nothing.
Yeah, well, but I mean,
4 or 5 games.
Every little bit helps.
Yeah, it's better than hitting 200.
Sure. Have you ever played first base?
In college, yes.
So, put you anywhere but pitcher, catcher, or third base, and you'll play.
Yeah.
Tracy, consider this though. What if you go north with the ball club and sit on that bench for 2.5 months? What good does that do you, honestly speaking?
I don't know.
What do you gain?
Experience, just being there. Just being on that same field with some of those ball players.
Yeah, but basically, and once again, I don't mean to keep pushing you back because I like your self-confidence, but there are realities in the game of baseball. And one of the realities is that you're not going to get any better shagging flies before a ball game.
That's true. That's true. But if they want me to go and sit on the bench and fill in every 4th day or something like that, people get injured.
Sure.
And some people are more injury prone than others. And some people have trouble playing hurt. See, I don't have that problem. I can play hurt.
You have no problems that I can understand.
No. Very fortunate.
Yeah, very fortunate. Right now, I mean, just nothing on the downside for Tracy Jones. But I repeat, you admitted that you've played 1 year at this weight. You're not really, I'm sure you're not really convinced what you can or cannot do at this weight. And wouldn't you rather have 600 at-bats? So you start your major league.
I'd rather have 100 at-bats in the big leagues. I want to play in the big leagues.
Everybody does.
I want to play right now in the big leagues.
Season doesn't start till April. I understand what you're saying, but that's going to be the decision that you understand management has to make.
Yeah, whatever they say is fine. I'll go down and work hard.
Because a lot of times I've sat here with a lot of kids over the last 5 or 6 years, and you're a kid. There's no question about that. You're a baby. There's no question about that. 24 years old, first major league camp. They sit here, I want to play in the big leagues. I want to be a major league ball player.
Yeah.
They're sent to Denver, and they go through about 6 weeks of, why me? I should be up there.
Oh, I'm not a whiner. I
No,
hate
no,
whiners.
I'm not talking about whiners. I'm just saying, why aren't I up there in the major leagues? And then that 6-week period works against them.
Instead of what I would do is go down and work hard and show them that I belong up there. Not go down and feel sorry for myself. Work hard and move your way up.
That's important.
Do a good job at what you're doing.
Tracy, you have no idea how important that is.
You know,
No,
people a lot of times, instead of doing their job at right where it's at, are always looking for higher things instead of doing a good job at what you're doing.
There's no question that if you grasp that, if you understand that, you have no idea how important that is.
Yeah.
Because they're just not going to suddenly, the major league say, Cincinnati's got this kid named Tracy Jones, and he may be the 26th best player we got on the ball club, so we're going to expand the roster to 26 to accommodate Tracy Jones. It doesn't work that way. And you have to be willing to also take the steps back to get to the giant leaps ahead. You're going to make it.
I hope so.
No, there's no hope involved. You're going to make it.
Yeah.
It's a matter of when you're going to make it, right?
Yeah, I hope so. I'm getting a little modest now.
No, look, you got peaks and valleys, and right now you're on a peak, and
Yeah.
you don't want to look at the valleys.
Exactly. You know, it's just like when that ball went over my head against the Dodgers. I mean, I feel so bad after a ball game. I have trouble sleeping. That's how bad I am. I go over every at-bat, every fly ball, you know, over and over in my head. I do not wind down till about 12 o'clock at night after, you know, I think about the ball game.
Well, see, you should have played football then. That's the temperament of a football player.
Yeah.
Baseball player, you do that 162 times, and
People tell me I get too intense out there and do things, you know, but I don't listen to them. I hate people telling me to relax. I says, hey, mind your own business.
Yeah. I was just going to mention it. Maybe you ought to kind of mellow out a little bit, but I won't do that.
No, I don't like to mellow out.
Yeah, I don't. Okay, not yet. Not at 24 years old, and not
No.
with a chance to make the major leagues.
No.
Okay, let's go to the telephones because we got people out there that want to talk to number 57 for the Cincinnati Reds. By the way, if you make the major leagues, what number would you like?
41.
Why 41?
I don't know.
You want Joe Nuxall's number? You can do better
I don't know.
than
You
that.
can kind of reverse Pete's number and get a 41.
Oh, that's why you want it?
I don't know.
Don Warner.
57's good. 55 for a linebacker's good, too.
Yeah, Otis Wilson.
50.
When Don Werner, who was a backup catcher for Johnny Bench, came up, he took 55.
Yeah.
Because his hero was Johnny Bench.
Yeah.
Let's talk to some people out there who 749-3420 is the number to call us and join us on Sports Talk with Tracy Jones. And thanks for waiting. You're first. Good evening.
Hi, Bob.
How are you?
I'm Jim from Indianapolis. Now I live in Cincinnati.
Yes, Jim.
First of all, I want to tell you what Tracy's going to achieve if he sits on the bench for 2.5 months. He's going to achieve a lifelong dream, and he's going to make $60,000 a year. And second of all, I'd like to congratulate Tracy on his success this spring.
Thank you, Jim.
I want
Look,
to
there's
know,
no...
one,
There's
Tracy, do you think he can go against
Jim.
Yeah.
There's no question that $60,000 and the experience of sitting in the Major League dugout and flying on a jet and having breakfast with Pete Rose is important. There's no question about that. There's no denying that fact. But at the same time, I mean, what if this guy in 600 at-bats is the AAA Player of the Year? Value goes up.
The motivation he's going to get from making the major leagues is going to do it all for him. Is that agreed? Is that true? Can that
I
happen?
certainly agree with you. And the closer you get to that brass ring, the closer it gets in your grasp. When you miss it, the more it hurts you.
Bob, I think the important thing is playing the big leagues. It doesn't matter what you do in AAA. If you can go and help the big club, and let's say you only get 50 at-bats, but you're helping the big club, that's the main thing.
Have you ever been a pinch hitter?
Oh, I'm
exclusively.
I can pinch hit.
I should have known. I should have known. I bet you'll even put pine on the pine tar rag too, won't you?
Okay, Tracy, can you bat against right-handed batters as well against pitchers as well as left-handed pitchers?
Absolutely.
What do you think?
Absolutely.
Okay, I know what your answer
I hit those better.
I know your answer. I've been listening. Okay, I only have another question. What did you study at Loyola?
I didn't make it too many classes. No, I studied psychology. I was a psychology major. I wanted to be a child psychologist, so I really like kids.
Like kids. So you can be a coach after you finish your big league career, huh?
No, I want to, if baseball doesn't work out, something happens, I'm going to be a cop in L.A.
Want to be a cop?
Yeah.
You talking about a highway patrolman?
No, I'm talking about a cop down in the heart of Los Angeles.
Really?
Yeah.
No joke.
It's something
Just
that
from watching too much TV?
No,
or what?
it's just I just like the intense action that goes on down there. It's a weird thing.
No, that's not weird. No. But
Well, congratulations, Tracy. I'm going to let somebody else get on.
Okay,
Thanks for your phone call. You're dead serious about this?
Yeah.
You'd like to be a policeman?
Yeah. Maybe when I'm 55 and retired, I might be a cop. I like that stuff.
No, I'm all for you.
I like to beat some heads.
You like to beat some heads? Yeah, well, okay. All
Catch
right,
those robbers.
Back to the telephone, 749-3420, the number to join us, and Tracy Jones is our guest, and it's now your turn. Good evening. Go ahead.
Hi, Bob.
How are you?
This is Steve from Columbus.
Yes, Steve.
I called you about a month ago talking to you about Tracy, and I want to say hi to Tracy.
How you doing, Steve?
And I've been impressed with Tracy just last couple of years, kind of followed him, and I think he's going to be a great addition to the Reds. And I was wanting to ask Tracy, what do you think of the prospects of, like, maybe if not this year, next year, the moving of Nick Kasaski to first and opening up that left field spot?
That sounds good to me. How about this year?
That's
Oh,
what I
Pete
said.
plays there, doesn't he? No, that sounds good. Whenever it happens, you know, people always say they always hope for a trade or something like that. I want to play for the Cincinnati Reds. They've treated me great, and I want to make it in Cincinnati. I don't want to play for any other team but Cincinnati. So,
I think you have an excellent chance. Like you said, you know, don't count this year out. The spring you're having, it's incredible.
You're right, Steve.
it's not that big a deal, Bob. It's only, it's 15 at-bats, and, you know, anything can happen.
Yeah, but
people can
now
get
I'm
lucky, you
defending
know.
Now, we've changed positions
Yeah.
here. Now, you're saying you're lucky, and I'm in a position of defending you. Those 15 at-bats are 15 at-bats in your first Major League camp. Stillwell's the same way. He's hitting the ball.
Yeah.
You're going to see a fair amount of change-ups up there, 3-2 change-ups. You're going to see some Major League heat. If you can handle that in 15 at-bats, I mean, that's going to impress some people. There's no question about that.
Yeah. I don't feel intimidated at all. You know, who was it? Hal threw me that pitch up and in that one day. You know, and I looked at him, he looked at me, threw another one, I hit it right in the left field. You know, I think he was trying to intimidate me, back me off the plate. And I won't go for that.
How much did it mean to you to have an at-bat against the Los Angeles Dodgers? You had to
Not that much. I hate the Dodgers.
You hate the Dodgers?
I'm from L.A. I hate the Dodgers.
All right.
God, I've never been a Dodger fan.
I don't know how many friends you had before that comment, but you got a hell of a lot more after it.
That's all right.
Dodgers are a bunch of wimps.
Wimps. A bunch of wimps.
They do have some good ball players.
Yes, they do.
Very good team.
Steve, anything else?
I just want to say I'm going to be at opening day this year, and like to see Tracy out there on the field opening day, you know, and wish him best of luck.
Thanks, Steve.
Steve, thanks for your phone call. We'll look for you opening day. Sports Talk continues. We have lines available at 749-3420, and we'll continue our conversation with Tracy Jones. Let's kind of recap here a little bit with Tracy Jones. So what we've learned about Tracy Jones, one, he's from Southern California, got a couple of brothers. Oldest one plays in the Angels organization, you said. Younger one is 16 years old. 2 years ago, Tracy Jones weighed 160 pounds. He's now pushing 215. Went on a tremendous weight training program. Thinks he can do anything in baseball. You name it, he can do it. Will be the Cincinnati Reds crescent wrench if they take him north. And loves to win, hates to lose. Wants to be a policeman when he retires.
I want to be a baseball player.
After you retire from baseball, you want to be a policeman?
Hopefully
Los
I won't
Angeles.
need to.
Yeah, all right. So that's, and you figure you got this, you could play on this ball club in 1986. I like that.
Well, I hope so.
But I don't have anything to do with it.
Yeah, but Mr. Burgess, where did he go?
No, he left.
Oh, he left?
He left. He
I
left.
saw him walking around.
Yeah. And during commercial, he said, "Oh, I like that Bill Burgess, too. Good friend of mine. Good friend of mine." So you're covering all bases. Mrs. Schott will be here on Monday.
Yeah, I like her dog, too.
You'd like her?
Yeah. St. Bernards are my favorite dog.
You got this ball club made. That's over, said and done with. Back to the telephones for inquiries with Tracy Jones. You're next on Sports Talk. Good evening, and thanks for joining us.
Good evening. How are you this evening?
Very well.
Good.
I'm being entertained. I hope you are, too.
Oh, I'm enjoying it. I've only been able to catch like the last 5 minutes of it.
You missed the best part.
I'll tell you, I've been rolling in the floor for the last 5 minutes. This guy's great. And I don't care if he can't play ball. He's great as a comedian. By the way, I just won $25. I called last night. I was first-time caller last night. My boss has been trying for a year to get on the phone, and he says, "I bet you $25 you can't get on the show again tonight." And I says, "You're on." So I'm $25 richer.
Yeah, send $12.50 to 3 East 4th Street, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45202.
You got it. I just want to say I admire the determination that Mr. Jones has got. Anybody with that much determination deserves to be called Mr.
Even with a name like Tracy?
Even with a name like Tracy.
Oh, okay.
I tell you what, you stand an excellent chance of making the ball club.
I hope so.
You're a great addition. One question I do have, and please forgive me for asking this: how good are you at base stealing?
Oh God, 91%.
Good.
Yeah, that's probably the best thing he does.
Yeah.
Caller, he's attempted 96, stolen 87. And what position in the batting order were you hitting in Denver?
First and third. If Eric was healthy, he'd hit first. If he wasn't healthy, he'd hit third.
This is a 6 foot 3 inch, 215-pound leadoff man.
Holy smokes!
Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah, that's wonderful. There's no question about that.
That's great. You know, I admire baseball players. I love baseball. I was never able to play baseball because I have a physical disability. And to see people like you, Pete Rose, people of that caliber with that much determination, it really gives me a lot of encouragement and a lot of enthusiasm. My hat's off to you. Best of luck, and tear them up this year.
Thank you very much.
Even if you get one bat this year with the Cincinnati Reds, it'll be a big plus for you and the Reds. Keep up the good work, and good luck.
Thank you.
All righty. Good night.
Thanks for your phone call. That guy's $25 richer. Back to the telephones we go. Tracy Jones, our guest, and you're our next guest. Go ahead. Yellow. Are you there? Anybody there? Try somebody else. Tracy Jones is our guest, and you're next on Sports Talk. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, there you are.
Yeah, he reminds me of that guy on how to be successful in business without even trying. Did you ever see that musical? Whatever it had to be, it's a good show. I'm sure other people have seen it. Anyway, that's not the truth about him, though, because I've watched his stats, in Red's View, and anybody that could improve their batting from the AA to AAA, he hit 322 or whatever it was in AA, and then he goes up to AAA and hits 333. I'd say he's a pretty good ball player.
Yeah, let's not shortchange him. He had
338.
I'm sorry.
No, wait a minute. No, wait a minute.
I wanted to ask you.
No, wait a minute. You had 317 in Vermont. That's AA. 337 in Denver.
Yeah.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, you deserve, I'll tell you, I'm the one that started a lot of this trouble. I called Trumpy a couple years ago when Rose first came here, and I'll tell you, the Reds would have a better team if they'd have more speed instead of Pete Rose. I like Pete Rose as a manager, but I think they'd be better off with Tracy Jones in that lineup than Pete Rose.
I heard Gary Rita say that one day.
That's my opinion.
You heard who?
I heard Gary Rita say that one day in the paper. He's no longer with the Reds.
You don't have to say
I would never say anything against Pete.
I don't say that. I knew Pete Rose when he first came up. What he should do, he should step down to give a guy like you a break, because the Reds are lucky to have such fantastic, and I can say that, Cal Daniels, and you said O'Neill. But I just like your attitude and the way you've advanced so quick. I just wondered, what was your father's name who played with the Red Sox?
I don't know. He's got about 5 names. I think it was BB. Stupid name.
B.B. Jones?
I think it was. I don't know what his name was when he played ball. I call him Dad now.
Well, but anyway,
seems fair.
Yeah.
The best thing to do is do just like you're doing. Say, I'm going to make it.
Yeah, I'll just give 100% every single
You're
day.
gonna
That's
make
all
it.
I can do.
And once you're there, Pete Rose. The same thing happened to Pete Rose. He wasn't even known. They never thought he would make it.
Yeah.
When he made it that first year,